Well, the Madlanga Commission will be resuming in a few minutes' time. Let's take you now live to SABC News anchor Thembekile Mrototo, who is standing by for us. Thembekile, of course, Advocate Johnson returning to the Commission after her resignation with immediate effect was accepted by President Ramaphosa. Give us a sense then, what's been some of the critical things that she's had to say today?
Well, interesting, actually, that you mentioned Andrea Johnson's resignation, because that actually hasn't come up at all here in terms of how it would affect her appearance at the Commission. She's no longer the head of the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, but that has not taken any of the sting out of the questions that have been put to her by the evidence leaders and indeed the commissioners. And in fact, in the next, I think, 3 minutes or so, she's going to come back in here and continue on issues related to some documentation, paperwork that's been added to the files that she now has to respond to, including around crime intelligence, those charges against the likes of Dumisani Khumalo, and possibly at some point regarding alleged fraud and corruption, an abuse, shall we say, of the slush fund. Let's bring in SABC senior reporter Canny Maphanga, who's with me here at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College. Andrea Johnson, Canny, I'm looking behind you, in fact, has just taken her seat here. Let's pick up with where she and the commissioners left off before the lunch break.
Well, we're back to the suspicions surrounding the six statements that were commissioned by Mr. Perumal, because there was questions surrounding the discrepancies in those statements. It was deposed in Pretoria, it was stamped in Cape Town, and the signatures didn't match accordingly. Now, it seems that there are two witnesses who have come forward from the IDAC itself, that is Advocate Ramsamy, and the second name escapes me, but it's an investigator. And they've alleged that at the time that they were together, there was no statement that was commissioned. So if it is indeed true that there was no statement commissioned that day and that this is allegedly manufactured, then that is serious gross misconduct that we're now looking at that would have taken place allegedly under Advocate Andrea Johnson's watch. That is the very statement that she's going to have to respond to now about the discrepancies. You remember, we were asked, would Mr. Perumal be able to come tomorrow to answer to those allegations, and we were told he was hospitalized last week, discharged yesterday, and he wouldn't be in a position to come and testify. Either way, at some point he's going to have to come answer to some of the glaring discrepancies in the process leading up to the charging of these generals and what the commission must make of the conduct and the rushed, hurried sense that you get from this evidence that they needed to charge these individuals, even when the charges do not match the A1 statement itself. So that is what she's going to have to respond to when she returns to the witness box.
Let's talk, I see the commissioners are all ready to come back in, but let's talk about why, in 30 seconds, the fact that Andrea Johnson has resigned from IDAC has not made a difference to how her evidence is being handled. In fact, we're going to pause there. Jeremy Michaels, the spokesperson for the Commission, confirming that we are about to resume here at the Madlanga Commission. You'll see Advocate Andrea Johnson, the now former head of IDAC, as of this morning, has taken her seat. The Commissioner is walking back in.